Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
Tony texted in and says, can you really put a Valentine bush and just leave it? So that is my kind of gardening. Google says it needs regular irrigation.
Yeah, I don't recommend my do or die yard for anyone. It's more of a oopsie doopsie than a plant. But so I did get it maintained and I did hand water it. But it is surviving with my forgetful, not home during the daylight hours very much. It has survived. But there are plants out there that you can once you get them established, like the desert, the cactus, if you get very specific in what you're choosing, you can have a very low and very, very low water use maintenance yard.
And low water use doesn't mean no water use.
No.
One of the examples you have on your blog at wateruseitwisely.com on the different demonstration gardens you can go see is in Gilbert at the Water Ranch. I mean, so that's water. I mean, you're going to see a Riparian Preserve.
Yes, it is really a beautiful site to the Gilbert Riparian Preserve, and that is built around a reclamation plant. So it's reclaimed water that is kind of ponded up around there. And oh my gosh, it's a great place for bird watching and all kinds of things. So what's neat is you will see a lot of desert plants there, but then as you get closer to the waterway, you're going to see more riparian type plants that, are native to Arizona, but you see them when they are in these areas that have a lot more water and those kinds of things. So it's another great garden to go visit.
Well, Donna, you've done your job this morning. Miss Marty called, and she's very excited about getting over to the gardens, and she just had a couple questions for you.
Okay.
She was wanting to know what the hours are over at Scottsdale, but I also remember in your prolific notes, you're just a great resource, that there's a tour coming up, I think.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was December 13th, Friday, December 13th at 1 p.m. Scottsdale's giving an actual tour of the garden there.
Is that unusual? I mean,
yeah. I think they only do it a couple times a year, maybe once in the spring and once in the fall, winter time
but you
period.
have to register.
So they do ask that people register for that. And but I think otherwise, all these gardens basically, as Victoria said earlier, dawn to dusk can work. You probably can get out there with a flashlight if you want to. They are basically open, but during those time periods, it's great.
What's that night blooming cactus?
Oh, yeah, there's so many night blooming cactus. I love them. I love taking photos of them. So there's the Cirrus cactus, which is the night blooming, has amazing huge blooms, and then there's the queen of the night, which is more you kind of nationally everyone gets excited about that. It's a really scraggly, honestly sad looking cactus, but when it blooms, it has this giant, amazing bloom to it. So, but many of our cactus, the organ pipe, all of those, that they tend to bloom like early morning or at night.
And cactus can have some of the most spectacular blooms. All the cactus. I mean, they're amazing.
And you were talking about the saguaros during the break and just how they breathe at night, and the heats from this last summer's kind of really put a strain on a lot of saguaros. Yeah,
so this urban heat island, it's getting real here in the valley. And so what that means is that our nighttime temperatures are just hotter because of all the concrete and all the heat. And so our desert plants have these amazing adaptations to be able to handle the stress of our summers, but it didn't used to be getting that hot for that long at night. So they actually close their stomas. The saguaro cactus can close their stomas, or basically how they breathe when it gets really, really hot. And they wait till it cools off, which used to be right once the sun went down, and then they could open them back up to, release their oxygen. And that's now happening later and later in the day, if not at all, because it's still so hot. And so that is, I think, adding to the stress of our desert plants, including the saguaros. And they're also finding that saguaros that have been moved, they've lost that taproot. Those are the ones that we're seeing that are failing more in our urban environments rather than out in the desert. So,
and moving saguaro takes a very intentional, because the direction it's in the ground has to be the direction it goes back into the ground.
Very intentional, just because of how much they weigh. So you got to know you're wanting to move this and get somebody with some expertise to do it for you.
I saw where City of Phoenix recently received a grant or approved some funding. They're going to plant 10,000 trees?
I I saw that too. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they have, for cooling the communities. They've got tree plantings and shade structures.
Shade
they're
sales
placing,
and structures and
which,
stuff,
trees can't do everything all the time in all the places. And so shade structures can work really, really well too to help cool our
Start
communities.
making little pockets and dents of this heat.
Yes,
Yeah, and it's a $10 million funding, so it's going to be a lot of trees and
Yes.
over sidewalks and play
Yes.
areas and parks and things.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that, Jennifer, because I know that just came out, and that was very exciting news. I want to go back quickly, too, with the watering, just real fast to also direct people to wateruseitwisely.com, because we have our landscape watering guide on there, all kinds of great information on how to water properly. So,
And if you'd like to sign up to try and get today's promotion, Dry Climate Gardening book from Noelle Johnson, beautiful 200-plus page book of Arizona plants, just text the email address to 620-620 and we'll sign you up, and we'll get you followed up next week, and
we'll do a raffle and pick some prizes for some of the listeners.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona home.